Hello and welcome to another episode of Kick Unhealthy Relationships to the Curb. I'm your host, Stephanie McPhail, and today my co-host, Steve Vaccaro, is not going to be hanging out with us today because he's actually in a conversation with Joshua Mountain Ministries, Father Joseph Gerzone, who actually founded an organization to teach people more about the teachings of Jesus and making it more accessible to more people. And so Steve is not with us today because he is having a really great conversation with Albany and their organization. As you know, Steve is really great about getting into around town, I guess you could say. He goes around town, he meets new people, he's constantly, interacting, and he does a lot of great work with different ministries, with different types of groups. And so, this is the type of stuff Steve does, is to be able to help people and support people and give them a voice. So thank you, Steve, for all the hard work that you do. And we have been taking a little bit of a break. It was the summertime. We've been traveling, doing all sorts of other things. And we are back. We should be coming every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to do some interviews with people who have overcome some type of toxic relationship. We've been doing this show now for about 4 years, a little bit like 4.5 years at this point. And it's been really great to watch the evolution of it, because when we started, we strictly just talked about toxic romantic relationships, but things have kind of, shifted over the past 4.5 years. And it's wonderful to get people from all over the world to talk about their stories of whatever their toxic relationship was. So without further ado, I am going to welcome our guest for today. Our guest, I'll give a heads up too. She lives in Europe. And the funny thing is that as someone who's got family in Europe, I'm very well aware that it can get very hot and there's no air conditioning. So as we are sitting here, I'm not trying to make you jealous that I'm in air conditioning and having my shaved ice. So sorry, Cecilia, but we're keeping it cool over here in Texas. And hopefully, it won't be too hot for our meeting and hanging out with everybody today. So Cecilia, welcome. Come on in.
Hi, thank you so much, Stephanie. And it's great to be here with you.
Today was the first day of school for our kids, and our community does a lot of really great things. And one of the things they do is today they actually gave snow cones to everybody in the community. We just had to go and get snow cones. So the kids were very excited. And it was very hot out there waiting for these snow cones. So they're delicious.
Yeah, nice. It's good.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, you and what your story is.
Yeah, I would love to do. My name is Cecilia Ekman, and I'm from Sweden from start. I was raised in a little town in Sweden nearby Gothenburg. And the last from December last year, I moved to Portugal in South Europe, and it was because of this toxic relationship I tried to move from there. So yeah, and I working as a life coach, and it's a little bit creative. I like to paint and write. I write a book, and it's about personal development and stuff like that. So I am a little bit of everything. Yeah, since I come through my toxic relationship, and yeah, and my life is like an adventure. I think I don't know where to go, but I think it's like I see where I go. I see I have tried to set my boundaries and love myself more, so I can try new things and be like brave to try it and see where I come and where it goes. I think not Portugal is my last destination, but here I am right now.
That's wonderful. That's really, really cool. Did you, when you were in this toxic relationship, you left your whole country. I mean, that's a pretty, pretty major thing, to go to a whole other country. It's a whole different language, all of that.
Yeah.
What do you think that had you experienced toxic relationships before then, or was that your first experience with it?
Since I come to the new country,
Before Portugal.
or
Before Portugal, had you
yeah,
ever experienced toxic relationship before?
Yeah, it was in Sweden. I was kind of had a toxic relationship, and I thought it was a good idea to start over somewhere. And I get more confident and work with myself in Sweden when I live there. But it feels like it was environment saying no to me. Environment say no, it's not here you're going to live. I had the best apartment in my whole life. I have buy everything I like. It seems I have my paintings on the wall, and I had good friends in the city in Sweden. But it was something that was not me, so I run away from the country. So in Portugal, I don't have some toxic relationships since the 6 months ago, but it was in Sweden. And when I have go through my own journey or transformation, I thought it was like I need to do something else with my life. I want to try something else, and yeah, it's why I end up in Portugal, I think. So the toxic relationship was in Sweden. I have bad relationships there. So yeah.
Was that your, do you feel like your family of origin, like where you were born, do you feel like that set you up for toxic relationships, or do you think that it was something completely unrelated to you growing up?
I think it's started from my childhood somewhere, because my father had like a personal disorder, the narcissistic, and was energy thief or something. So I didn't get the good childhood that I should get. So I was very much out in the try and error area of my life. So I was. I have to take care of my family, and I have to take care of my siblings when I was like 12, 13 years old, and it was hard, and I have to guess very much what was right and wrong in the society. When you are grown up, maybe you don't need to guess what's right or wrong, because what's right is what is right for your heart. But when you are child, it's not so easy. You think you want to have a community that you say that you are good and something like that. So you try to what you say, do what you think was right for yourself, like that.
Yeah. So it sounds kind of like you had to raise yourself.
Yeah, it was very much that. And I have a good connection with my spiritual me, and my connection through universe, and like that. But when I was a child, I didn't know how to handle this kind of energy. So I was very much like a what you say, ADHD, or what you
Mhm.
say. Yeah, like I have a very much high energy, and I did something that I did things without thinking, and do more to it. And so it was like I caught up in problems. I was very problematic at school, and I was like firing up um, things at my school, and the books, and in the trash and stuff like that. And I was very uh, playful, and not good at attention in school. It was like a channel from my childhood that I don't been seen as a child, and don't get listened to as a child. So I needed to get attention or something like that. So I was a little bit like a guy or something, that was a little bit tough, and try my boundaries when I was child. So it was hard, and I was into more like party, and drink much alcohol. And it was hard for me to know the boundaries, and know to love myself, and look after me, like it should be good for me. So I I think I ended up like I was exhausted when I was like 17 years old. I didn't want to go to school, and I uh, run been more at home and don't feel so good, and I wanted to take my life and everything because I don't was seen as a person and a girl who I was. I think I was like a needed to be be a grown up, but I didn't was. So after this kind of childhood and the exhausting uh, relationship with myself that is not working, that I ended up in a relationship when I was 17 with an older man who was like a father figure to me. And I think it was not a kind of toxic relationship, but it was no healthy for me because it was like, um, yeah, it's like the age span you have, like you can, he was like a father that say you are a good person, and he get me into like the creative uh, things I do today, and he helped me to try more in school, and I was raised my school, what you say, like the
Your grades.
uh, grades, yes. So I was into university and study psychology, and then I understand it in the theory that my father had like a narcissistic personality. So then I can connection between the physics that I have been through and the theory that I know from the Freud and what this was, what he do with me and stuff like that. Um, so it was a good time for me, but it was no like love in a good partner relationship. It was like a father relationship. So I needed to go from there and try something else. So after that, it was like hard for me to stand on my own in my own energy and stuff like that. So then I ended up in a very bad relationship after my father figure relationship, you say.
Mhm.
Uh, so I think the bad relationships I have is like reflection from my childhood, because I thought I was good because I healed my childhood with a father figure, and I was creating creative stuff and like that. And then I needed to try to be in the society on my own, and it was no good because I ended up with an person that was addicted to drugs, and he was like, I thought I could help him. Like when you study psychology, you want to help the whole world, and you don't have to help the person you are together with. It's like you want maybe that in professional or something like that. But in that time I was 25 years old and I didn't know that. So it was a bad relationship, and he's drug what you say, drug oh my god, now I lost the word, drug addiction, the drug addiction, yeah. So I was very bad. uh, I was like a mother to him and tried to help him, but I was instead pulling into his drama and his drug contacts, and it was police at my home, and we had neighbors that have a problem with drugs. And at that time I didn't have like work, so it was like I didn't feel home there. it was no me. So I start to paint more, and I feel like if I start to paint in space, like planets and stars, I thought it was like I'm going to be somewhere else in the future. This is going to be good. So I was more creative, and I thought of a better future somewhere. And from the first relationship, the father relationship, I have started to write the book I have today. I write it in a, what you say, in my mother's, in Swedish,
Mhm.
and it was like, it was not me, it was universe, that my over me, that say to me that this is good, this is what you want to say to people, this is what love is, this is how you feel illness, and this is what you thrive off, and stuff like that. So I've written like two chapters. One chapter is like uh, what you feel illness of, is like it comes from fear, and feelings that comes from fear is like um, guilt and shame, and pressure and norms and stuff like that. And the other part, it was from love, what you feel, how you feel when you feel loved, and when you follow your heart and stuff like that. So uh, I write it without knowing where I go or what I should do in the future. So it was like over me from universe that says this is going to be good. Uh, so, but after this addiction relationship, I tried to think more of myself. I was 27 years old, and after that, tried to set boundaries better, and I've tried to do more things for myself, and I moved to a bigger city in Sweden and get more friends and better work. I have lecturing in Sweden from my book, and how to love yourself more, and from my abused childhood and stuff like that. So I work a lot with myself in 5 6 years, and I feel good about myself when uh, it comes the corona crisis, COVID crisis,
Mhm.
and then I thought, no, this is no good. But because I have set boundaries, and I did understand that I love myself more, and these relationships that I have is no good, and I did wanted to sort them out and try something else, but it was like lockdown mode. It was no good to try to get new contacts with people, and I work a little bit more with myself, and try a little bit more on to know how to do this with my book in Sweden, and I try to do it in audiobook in Sweden, and I try to translate this book to English. So last year I was ready to have translate this book to English. So today it's uh, available in Amazon. On the name of it is uh, in your everyday life, or something like that. The existence of everyday life. So no, the true light in your existence is called in English. So uh, I have very much think that the toxic relationship is, you have to get through yourself. You have to heal yourself from your childhood, and find ways to love yourself, get boundaries. And it's why I today work with the relationship with yourself. So the most important thing is like the relationship with yourself. Like you're going to see yourself in the mirror in some, yeah, in 80 years or something like that, you're going to see yourself. So you can't chase a guy or a relationship if you don't are through with yourself and understand what's good with yourself and to love yourself more. Because I think it's more like uh, people maybe think like, how can I love myself more? Because I don't want to be egocentric and stuff like that. So, but if because of my childhood and my father from the narcissistic, egocentric spot that I have been through, so I have leveled myself from my heart based, like I was am into emotional intelligence too, and to uh, feel from your heart more, and to get to know yourself and your environment in your heart, to get boundaries and love yourself, then the relationship's going to be good or better. They're going to come into your life and stuff like that.
It's
And
always about healing yourself first, right? That's always the focus, is being able to heal yourself first. This is Kicking Healthy Relationships to the Curb. I'm Stephanie McPhail. I'm here with our guest Cecilia Ekman, and I'm wondering, as you're sharing, and it's so true. I think the biggest problem we have is how we feel about us.
yeah,
You were a kid and you were lashing out because basically you were saying, "Someone come help me and pay attention to me," and you weren't getting that. Do you
yeah.
has your relationship changed with your father? Do you still speak with him, or has anything changed there?
I don't know really. It's not changed, but I have accepted, and we speak a little bit sometimes, but it's not so good. He don't help me like see me as I should from uh, my personality and stuff like that. And I had tried to reach out to him several times, and it was like in the COVID, I think he said like to me like, you have to be more careful of your work as a personal assistant, and maybe you don't have to have your work left because of the COVID crisis. And I said to him, maybe you should ask me how it's really are at my workplace, because it was very good workplace I had. And in that family I worked at, it was very, we had like an energy. We know where we had each other in that crisis. So it was like he tried to destroy for me. So no, it's hard to have a relationship with him these days. But sometime I speak with him, but he tried to destroy my what you say, self-esteem or something like that. So
Well, and it
it's
shows how much you've grown. I mean, the people that want us to be who we were are going to be unhappy when we grow and change. And so, that's, I can see why that would happen. Now, you're the first guest that we've had that was, from Sweden or Portugal. I don't think we've had either. Do you feel like, I think in America, one of the biggest words that's like most searched out terms is narcissist. And I think
mm.
there's been such a push for people to start this self discovery mode and things like that. Is that kind of the same thing in Sweden and maybe Portugal as well?
I don't know really. I think it's more if you see the differences between Sweden and US, it's like uh, Sweden is like everything is what you say, it's very quiet. We don't speak so much about things, so it's like a quiet culture. And people who are narcissistic, they are out there, but uh, people don't speak about it. It's when they see like a lecture from me, I have a lecturing about narcissistic, then it come up girls to me that say, oh my god, I feel the same, and I have been through the same. So I think it's a quiet culture you need to speak more of. I
Mhm.
think it's, yeah, Sweden is like uh, we are very quiet. We only like saying is bad to our home or in ourselves, but we don't say it out loud.
Mhm.
We should be like that more. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
But that's a pretty common, I mean, it's a pretty common thing. And the culturally, when you have a culture that is a little bit more private,
Mm.
it feeds that secrecy that much more, which keeps us stuck that much longer. We are getting close to the end of time. What is something you'd like to maybe leave the audience with? And of course, anybody who's watching this right now, make sure you go over to the website that you see scrolling on the bottom. Go check out Cecilia's YouTube channel. Go subscribe and follow the great stuff that she's doing. I mean, it's really amazing stuff. And obviously something that if it's not talked about, that just shows how much it's needed because it's happening. So somebody needs to talk about it. I'm glad that you're doing it. What's something you'd like to share with the audience before we say goodbye?
I think it's the most important thing is to work with yourself and love yourself from the inside. Yeah, it's very much what you say. You need to look good and feel good about yourself, and you have to have shopping this, and you have to have a big house and stuff like that. But the work with yourself is inside out. You have to work with yourself inside first,
Mhm.
and look on your boundaries and to love yourself from your heart based is the thing I wanted to say. So you are not egocentric if you don't hurt people. If you love yourself, then it's going to be like rings on the water. You're going to have more loving relationship coming your way. You on love more, give more, you get back. So it's never wrong to love, and it's never wrong to say no either. If you don't feel comfortable, say no. It's
Mhm.
it's work. It's good for you, and you are great looking as you are. Even if you are like fat or no good nose or stuff like that. So work with yourself, and then you're going to have good relationships.
Yep. You are deserving because you are. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody else, but you deserve
No,
it because you deserve it. Like you don't have to prove anything to anybody. I love that.
no,
Well, thank you so
thank
much,
you.
Cecilia, for coming and hanging out with us. Again, go over to the websites that are scrolling on the bottom and the YouTube channel that's scrolling on the bottom. Don't forget to come next week and hang out with us next week for our guest. We're going to have another great conversation about healing from toxic relationships. As always, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. See you next time, everybody. Never forget, you are way stronger than you realize. Bye, everybody.
Bye.